In this fast-paced, technology-driven and overly connected world, many of us have disconnected from what we need most: nature. We are inundated with the information about the endless threats facing the natural world: poaching, climate change, habitat destruction, pollution, and everything in between. So, how do we solve these problems? And does it matter if we don't? Do we need nature? Or is it just something that's pretty to look at? Imagine a world with no fresh water, no food, no bees left to pollinate the plants or birds or animals to disperse their seeds, so the plants disappear too. The soil erodes, nothing can be grown. Many key ingredients and vital medicines and materials for building shelter are gone. There are floods, droughts, and other extreme weather events with nothing to regulate the environment. Natural pest control such as mammals, fish, and birds disappear. Our mental and physical health deteriorates, and we lose our spiritual connection to the world we live in. This is life without healthy nature, and if we don't do something now, this could be the reality of our future. But there is hope. With over 45 years of experience at the forefront of wildlife and habitat protection, the Endangered Wildlife Trust, EWT, is championing conservation in Africa. Dedicated to conserving threatened species and ecosystems in southern Africa to the benefit of all people, the EWT works tirelessly to save wildlife and habitats in partnership with communities, businesses, and governments. From the smallest frog to the majestic rhino, from winding rivers to our shorelines, from sweeping grasslands to arid drylands, the EWT is working with you to save nature. Our team of dedicated field-based specialists is working across Africa where conservation action is needed the most. But we do more than protect wildlife. We work to protect your life and livelihood too. We work for everyday Africans by protecting important ecosystems like grasslands and wetlands to ensure continued supply of fresh water. We rise to conservation challenges, reversing the decline in species such as cranes and pickersgill's reed frogs, to name but a few. Our work to create safe space for cheetahs and wild dogs through relocations and reintroductions has seen wild dog numbers increase by 100% and cheetah numbers by 50%. South Africa is the only country with a growing cheetah population. Our conservation efforts also take to the skies, as we work to protect iconic vultures, some of the most extinction-prone animals in the world, from multiple threats, including the devastating effects of poisoning of the carcasses they feed on. Saving these scavengers benefits all of us, as they play a critical role in keeping our environment healthy, while also benefiting other wildlife such as lions that are often intentionally poisoned. We work with farmers to ensure food security by assisting them with sustainable grazing and fire management practices. And we keep livestock safe from predators by placing livestock guarding dogs on rural farms, simultaneously reducing threats to wild carnivores such as leopards and jackals. Since many of our threatened species and their habitats are found outside of protected areas, we work with and support landowners, enabling them to become biodiversity stewards, empowering them to work their land sustainably while playing a vital role in looking after the country's life-giving habitats. We also work with fishers, providing them with guidance and technology to work sustainably, thereby supporting their livelihoods and protecting incredible species such as the dugong. We work with rural communities, empowering women to maintain sustainable families, enabling them to manage resources and benefit their communities. We also train and upskill community members across Southern and East Africa, facilitating much-needed job creation. We work in schools, with over 10,000 learners being fed from school vegetable gardens supported by the EWT, and we provide environmental education, boreholes to supply fresh water, and equipment and materials for projects that aid learners and the environment. We are working to protect an area in the Soutpansberg Mountains that plays a crucial role in water production and holds significant value as a center of cultural heritage for many communities. It also has a high presence of threatened species and an extraordinary variety of important habitat types. We work to support economic development and tourism by conserving wildlife and habitats in close to 100 private and government-run reserves and placing sniffer and anti-poaching dogs at reserves and airports to detect wildlife contraband that may be trafficked. These dogs play a vital role in the fight against the scourge of rhino poaching. We work with key business sectors such as power providers and road agencies to reduce the impact of infrastructure on wildlife while keeping road users safe and power supplies uninterrupted. We also run the National Biodiversity and Business Network with over 600 members, which is bringing business and biodiversity closer together and achieving sustainable development goals. We work with law enforcement agencies to tackle issues such as illegal hunting with dogs, which is a primary factor in the population decline of wildlife such as Orovi. We also provide training for hundreds of law enforcement officials annually covering issues such as species commonly traded illegally, enforcement and compliance, and fighting cybercrime. These examples of our work and everything else we do are based on the premise that people and nature are inextricably linked. Our strategy is centered around the need to empower people and conserve nature to the benefit of each other, taking action to conserve threatened wildlife, upholding ecosystem integrity and conserving threatened habitats, and enabling biodiversity-friendly businesses, enterprises, and livelihood. The EWT is bringing hope to Africa's wildlife and people. Become a conservation champion with us by visiting www.ewt.org.za. Protecting forever, together.